Alright, so last time I was live streaming, I realized I didn't give anyone the joy of watching a boot up of a Dell R910 server. And I did a little playing around as well with how many power supplies could I unplug before the server went down. This is a four power supply system. I unplugged one, no big deal. Unplugged two, didn't seem to care. Obviously, there was some warnings. Unplugged three, which I kind of figured was going to cause it, and boom, killed the server. Now I am seeing a particular power supply on this server. I don't know if it's failed or what, but I keep going back here and finding one power supply that goes yellow. Not sure what yellow means. Can't imagine it's great. That was after me unplugging, but we'll find out. So this is a, like I said, PowerEdge R910. It takes about a minute for the boot up to get beyond configuring memory. I think if you hit a key, I don't know if that's, I think it might be HP's. If you hit a certain key during boot up, you can actually see some more details. It doesn't look like this one's like that, this particular PowerEdge. We are beyond the memory tests, and we're on to, not sure if this monitor moves. Yeah, it does. On to four quad core processors, 1.86 gigahertz, 256 gigs of memory. Memory speed's 800 megahertz, so it's a bit of an older system. It's got a RAID controller, one virtual drive. It's got two SAS 15K 146 gig drives in this thing. So not a whole lot of storage, but plenty of open bays. And just need to populate those a little more so I can probably load some more VMs and all sorts of good stuff. It was a server that had VMware ESXi on it, and so we're just watching VMware now boot up. And VMware took quite a while on this particular server to boot up. It often does take a little bit. And just kind of running through here. I am again getting a notice here that, let me see if I can get this to my camera to be a little kinder to the message. Well, it's not really getting it, but power supply redundancy is an issue now. They're calling it degraded, which makes sense. It looks like that second power supply on this particular server has given up the ghost. No matter what I do to it, just does not seem to be happy. I have unplugged it and replugged it, and initially you get green. And I don't know if the power supply is completely faulty, if it needs to be reseated, if there's something else going on. I have to look in the BIOS logs maybe. Not sure if you can see those in 5.5 directly. That'll be a learning lesson. But I'm happy as a clam now. But it won't be at some point. So we'll watch this sucker go through. And just basic boot up of a Dell PowerEdge R910 server, which is probably boring for some, but anyone who's not done it might enjoy this. 256 gigs of memory. I had mentioned I have a kilowatt here as it's booting up. I've got about 557 watts of power usage, which is a good bit. Yeah, there goes that power supply issue again. So it doesn't really look like I have 4 good power supplies, but I have 3, which I'm sure is more than enough for what I'm going to be doing. I don't think I need 2 to actually run on this particular server. So we'll see. Not a lot of hard drives in there yet. I'm not sure how many I'll put in, or solid state, or what. In front of a lot of Dell servers, can't say all, is the service tag. Like kind of a quick pull out there. You get a kind of console display there, which is nice. Get a little basic information. This has 16 drive bays. Only 2 are being used of those 16 right now. So any spare 2.5-inch drives that this server supports. Not sure if it supports SATA. Not sure if the controller in here actually supports 16 drives consistently. We'll find that out. Last time I played with this swap object was up for a while. So we'll see. It'll take a little while before we get to the next piece of ESX booting. ESXi. ESXi is a bare metal type of hypervisor. So it's really an operating system that's designed to be managed by something else. And it becomes like the base OS that you will load virtual machines on. And that can be managed either through a remote console, through a remote management, and I mean to say a remote computer, or you can use vCenter, which is kind of a management appliance framework, basically, that goes on top of VMware ESXi. So it's kind of neat. You can load VMware ESXi on really small equipment, small little HP Evo, small form factor machines. I've had success loading it on there. Their VMware has a hardware compatibility list, and HCL says exactly what they support, but often it works on a lot of not supported but runs okay hardware. So you can get it to run there, but you can't get support from VMware. But if you're doing lab work, you're probably not messing around with VMware support too much, other than community forums and stuff. But just kind of a really, if you want something to fall asleep to, and it's late at night and you're having trouble sleeping, I would suggest this to watch boot up of an old server and VMware. Might be very good to lull you to sleep. So I'll cut this off once it boots, but it does take a while. I think it's been at least 6 or 7 minutes of booting now. You see a lot of individual services that VMware has when you're watching the boot up process. A lot of these services I've Googled. A lot of them are obvious to folks who've worked in other industries. I'm a network engineer, so I have seen CDP, I've seen SNMP, I've seen a bunch of other protocols. And different services that you use. LACP is another one, but CDP is Cisco Discovery Protocol, which is pretty neat that it's on VMware. I am going to end this live stream now and kind of further configure this and come back to you guys. So it's part 2 of a who knows how long boring series. I'll try to make it more interesting